After their fight in Season 3, I don't think people gave much thought to a Deku vs Bakugo round 3, because when Deku progressed to 20% of One For All fighting for his life against Overhaul, Bakugo was babysitting kids for his provisional license, so it always seemed like Deku just slaps. But in the Paranormal Liberation War, we see Bakugo, after training with Endeavor, keeping up with a 30% Deku, promising to not be left behind. After his recent awakening on Death's Door, how does he now match up against the insurmountable power of One For All? In this video, I pit Bakugo at the peak of his power against a Deku in his lowest moment. Let's start off with Bakugo, as he seems to be the underdog in this fight. As mentioned in the intro, base Bakugo in the Paranormal Liberation War can keep up with Deku at full cal in 30%, speed wise at least. I don't know if his attack potency also stacks up to a 30% Deku, as both his and seemingly even a 45% Deku were ineffective against Shigaraki. His Grenadier Bracer Blast was able to damage / stagger Shigaraki though, something that a 45% Deku doesn't seem to be able to do, since he had to resort to a 100% Wyoming Smash to hold / put down Shigaraki. So his Grenadier Bracer Blast should be around or even greater than a 45% Deku in AP. Later on in the Paranormal Liberation War, Bakugo awakens Cluster to save Deku. Cluster is a power up to his normal explosions where Bakugo condenses them, so instead of letting off a single explosion, he lets off a barrage of smaller, stronger explosions, which can be applied to his existing ultimate moves. It shares a lot of similarities with Endeavor's Flash Fire Fist technique. With Cluster, Bakugo on Death's Door was able to fend off a lot of near high ends, which are compared to Hood in terms of physicality, although by Mirio. Bakugo asserts that these explosions are unlike any he has unleashed before, and that would include his Grenadier Bracer Blast that seemed comparable or greater than a 45% Deku. If he was keeping up with a 30% Deku in speed in base, then with Cluster he has far surpassed that. He could be as fast or even faster than a 45% Deku, but there is no way to use his feats in the Paranormal Liberation War to assert that. The way I see it, all things are pointing at Bakugo with Cluster being relative or even greater than Deku at full cal in 45%. Again, I can't definitively assert that this arc, but in the final war, it seems more consistent that Bakugo has surpassed 45% Deku. In the final war, his fighter completed Shigaraki, who compares himself to a Prime All Might. Dark Deku also compares himself to Prime All Might to 400%. Cluster Bakugo may not be reaching those speeds, but with the Straff Panzer support item, he was able to damage and leave a burn mark on completed Shigaraki with a Cluster enhanced Howitzer impact, which is far more impressive than Deku's and Endeavor's feats on a weaker Shigaraki in the previous war. It's in this fight we discovered that Cluster was the result of Bakugo's explosion quirk experiencing a quirk awakening. Once again on Death's Door, Bakugo awakens. This state, ironically similar to full Kalin, is as a result of the tremendous stress on the sweat glands on his palms by Cluster, causing the stored up sweat to be transferred to other openings of the body, essentially granting him the ability to execute Cluster all over his body, giving him a tremendous boost in speed and power. In this state, he was briefly able to rival completed Shigaraki, blitzing him and causing lasting damage. This Bakugo undoubtedly far surpasses a 45% Deku, and dare I say, he is in the 400% ranges of speed and power. But let me prove that after going over Dark Deku. This is a stronger Deku than the one we see in the Paranormal Liberation War arc, so I'm just going to give him the benefit of doubt here and assume he can now maintain 45%. But with just that alone, he's still weaker than Endeavor based on both their performances against Shigaraki in the previous arc and statements by a Prime All For One saying Endeavor is the only one that can stand up to him in Gunga. Endeavor does concede inferiority to Deku though, but this is to a Deku who now has 400%, which he says puts him on par with All Might. It's fair to assume he means Prime All Might here if Endeavor concedes inferiority. 400% is Deku fusing 45% of the base quirk with Fire Jin and Black Hole to simulate 100% of the base quirk without the recoil. With it, as mentioned, he's supposedly in the same tier with Prime All Might, but the problem here is that it's a very telegraphed move that Deku can't just spam. If he misses or doesn't get the job done, it could be game over. If I'm using Bakugo on Death's Door, it's only fair to use the tired Deku we see at the end of the Dark Hero arc, meaning I'm also going to assume he doesn't use the second user's quirk. I think you can all see the picture I'm painting here. I believe if Deku pulls up 400% and lands it, there is no way Bakugo is surviving, but I also believe more times than not he won't be able to pull that off, as Bakugo seems to be able to operate at those speeds more consistently without a long charge up time like Deku, meaning he can tag Deku like he did a completed Shigaraki, who is consistently in the Prime All Might range. If Deku doesn't have 400%, full Kalin 45% would just get low diffed by Awakened Bakugo. I can already hear some of you angrily typing in the comments that Danger Sense will not allow that, but I don't think so. Lady Nagat has shown that just because he can sense it coming doesn't mean he can dodge it. Full Kalin 45% could barely dodge her base bullets, while 400%, which Bakugo would would be able to operate in similar speeds to completely blitz her fastest bullet. With all that, I have to say, Awakened Bakugo wins. I'm going to use the remaining part of this section to better prove why I believe Bakugo is in those 400% to Prime All Might ranges. I have to dive into manga spoilers for the rest of the video though. So if you don't want to get spoiled, let me know who you think actually wins in the comments below. Why don't you like and subscribe while you're down there too? See you next time. Bakugo was able to fend up a young All For One who should be as strong as his prime self, who fought Prime All Might, or even stronger since he has more blood loss as stated. I want to also mention that Deku did use Gear Shift on Bakugo before this fight, and I can't find anything that says it's active or inactive throughout the fight, but I'm just going to assume it's inactive as that's what it seems like. All For One did say that Endeavor and Dark Shadow pack more of a punch and that Bakugo can't measure up to All Might, so that can be used to downscale Bakugo, but I don't think he's right here. Entirely at least. Edgeshot did say that Bakugo is on the cusp of discovering something, then he shows Bakugo figuring out his awakened state after. He also did say that he was being nerfed by the rain. All For One only made that Endeavor and Dark Shadow statement after taking 1+, which isn't an ultimate move like later on. Bakugo is still weaker than him though, but he was able to keep up with him and fend him off. Young All For One thinks his de-aging is nerfing him, but he can't be by much because he still thinks he can fight final form Shigaraki, who should be stronger than his prime self. This adds to my point that if Bakugo can tangle with them, he's in the 400% ranges, if not a bit greater than, meaning Dark Deku shouldn't be a problem. That's a wrap. Do you think Awakened Bakugo actually beats Dark Deku? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe and ring that notification bell. See you later. Bye.